Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but I gotta say I'm officially back. I am here and I'm counting down my top 10 favorite films of the year. And let me tell you, it's been a fantastic year for cinema. Don't let anyone tell you different. From unforgettable performances to jaw-dropping visuals, I've seen some truly remarkable films this year. I'm gonna briefly run through my picks 10 through 6, and then after that, from 5 to 1, I'm going to really dive deep into what made those films stand out and why they're at the top of my list. And just up front, I want to share this list of movies that I didn't get around to seeing yet, or films that haven't been released before I actually wrote and recorded this video. If anyone's like, why isn't Nosferatu here? That's why. So without further ado, let's get started. Up first at number 10, we have The Substance is a dark, satirical body horror film that explores the dangers of vanity, fame, and the relentless pursuit of youth. It follows Elizabeth Sparkle, a faded Hollywood star who becomes entangled in a horrifying experiment to regain her lost stardom. What begins as a desperate bid for rejuvenation spirals into a grotesque and surreal struggle with identity, self-worth, and the physical toll of chasing perfection. Blending sharp social commentary with visceral surrealist horror, the film delves into the cost of living in a society obsessed with beauty and relevance. Saturday Night is a behind-the-scenes dramedy chronicling the chaotic creation of the very first episode of what would become the iconic show Saturday Night Live. Set in 1975, the film captures the tension, conflicts, and eccentric personalities of the cast and crew as they grapple with the high stakes of launching a groundbreaking variety show. At its core, the story delves into the creative struggles, clashing egos, and moments of inspiration that drive artistic collaboration, offering a humorous and heartfelt glimpse into the origins of a cultural institution. The film stars a murderer's row of up-and-coming actors like Gabriel LaBelle, Rachel Sennett, Corey Michael Smith, Lamorne Morris, and well-established names like Willem Dafoe and J.K. Simmons. Didi is a coming-of-age dramedy about a 13-year-old boy, Chris Wang, navigating the complexities of adolescence in a Taiwanese-American household during the summer of 2008. Set in Fremont, California, the film explores themes of identity, family expectations, cultural assimilation, and the awkward, often painful process of growing up. Through a series of humorous and heartfelt events, Chris grapples with strained relationships, a first crush, and his role within his family, offering a poignant look at the challenges of self-discovery and connection. A Real Pain is a poignant dramedy about two Jewish American cousins on a journey to Poland to reconnect with their heritage and explore their family's history. Set against the backdrop of a Holocaust tour, the film examines themes of cultural identity, intergenerational trauma, and personal growth. Through their clashing personalities and shared emotional struggles, the cousins confront deep-seated feelings of loss, love, and what it means to live authentically, making for a heartfelt exploration of family bonds and self-discovery. Anora is a chaotic, genre-blending journey through love, self-discovery, and the absurdities of power. Primarily structured like one long, eventful day, the film follows Annie, a young woman in Brooklyn's Russian-speaking community, as she embarks on a desperate quest with a motley crew of enforcers to track down her immature, oligarch-heir husband, Vanya. The story bounces from one slapstick scenario to the next, with each misadventure delivering moments of unexpected hilarity and sobering confrontation with reality. The film skillfully shifts tone, blending outrageous comedy with deeply uncomfortable truths about ambition, relationships, and Annie's struggle for self-worth. This odd tonal mix creates a uniquely unpredictable narrative that is both a critique of wealth and power and an intimate portrait of resilience amidst dysfunction. Now onto our top 5, starting with one of two critically acclaimed Sebastian Stan movies that came out in 2024. Can you guess which one it is? Different Man is a haunting exploration of identity, transformation, and self-worth, set against the backdrop of artistic ambition and personal obsession. Edward, a struggling actor living with a disfigured condition caused by neurofibromatosis, undergoes an experimental medical treatment that completely alters his appearance. Eager to shed his former life, Edward assumes a new identity as Guy Moratz, faking his own death and reinventing himself as a successful real estate agent. However, his attempt to escape his past takes an unsettling turn when he auditions for and wins the lead role in a play written by his former neighbor, Ingrid, which is based on his very life that he abandoned. The film weaves an intricate narrative as Edward immerses himself in Ingrid's play, rekindling his feelings for her while keeping his true identity hidden. Complications arise when Oswald, another man with neurofibromatosis, becomes involved with the production. Oswald's confident demeanor and magnetic presence contrasts sharply with Edward's insecurities, forcing Edward to confront the parts of himself that he thought he had left behind. The tension escalates as Oswald's influence grows, ultimately replacing Edward both on stage and in Ingrid's life, triggering a downward spiral that threatens to destroy Edward's fragile new existence. I was this close to giving A Different Man 4.5 stars on Letterboxd when I first saw it, but something about the third act dragged it down a bit for me. The last 15 minutes in particular felt like they lost momentum of what had been such a captivating, poignant, and often surprisingly funny portrait of identity and identity loss. But that being said, the first 3/4 of this film really rocked my world. It genuinely opened my eyes to a part of myself that I either feared to confront or outright denied existed. Films that could do that could force you to take an honest look inward, are a rare and special breed. What sets this movie apart is how it goes beyond the usual conventions of self-acceptance stories. It doesn't settle for the overplayed love yourself for who you are or true beauty is on the inside cliches. Instead, it approaches those themes with such a fresh and inventive angle that I couldn't stop smiling at the brilliance of the premise alone. It's bold and it's unafraid to venture into deeply uncomfortable territory, offering a nuanced exploration of identity, self-perception, and the lengths we go to redefine ourselves. The film's big marquee letter theme is identity with a capital I, what it means to have one, to lose one, and to try to rebuild one in the shadow of shame, insecurity, and longing. And watching Sebastian Stan grapple with these existential struggles is as moving as it is entertaining. Sebastian Stan is a powerhouse here, delivering one of the most layered, mesmerizing performances of the year. His ability to shift between vulnerability, charm, and outright delusion makes his character both deeply relatable and unsettling. What surprised me most, though, was how funny this film is. Amid all of the heavy introspection and emotional weight, there's a sharp, biting, dark humor that makes this film's darker moments hit even harder. That tonal balance between heartbreak and absurdity is one of its greatest strengths. I definitely want to revisit this film and give it the reflection that it deserves, but for now, I'll leave it at this. A Different Man is one of the year's best films, hands down. Even with a slightly lackluster ending, it's a strikingly original, beautifully crafted story that challenges you to think about how much of yourself you're willing to compromise in the pursuit of an idealized version of who you could be. It's absolutely a must-watch. Up next is a film that I think far too many people have forgotten about when they're making their end-of-the-year lists. The Bikeriders is a gritty and emotionally charged exploration of the rise and fall of a motorcycle club and the personal toll it takes on its members. Set against the backdrop of the Midwest in the 1960s and 70s, the film weaves together stories of loyalty, rebellion, and identity through the eyes of Kathy Bauer, a young woman who marries into the dangerous and alluring world of the Vandals Motorcycle Club. The film captures the club's evolution, starting with the founding by Johnny Davis, a charismatic leader inspired by Hollywood's romanticized depiction of biker culture. What begins as a tight-knit group united by freedom and camaraderie spirals into chaos as the Vandals grow larger and more violent, fueled by internal tensions and the changing cultural landscape. Through the lens of a curious photographer and journalist, Danny Lyon, the audience is offered a portrait of the Vandals at their peak and during their inevitable unraveling. At its core, The Bikeriders is a story about people caught between their dreams and the realities of the lives that they've chosen. Johnny's relentless grip on the Vandals' legacy clashes with Benny Cross's growing disillusionment, while Kathy serves as the emotional anchor, navigating the dangers and heartbreak of life alongside a man tethered to a world he can't fully escape. As the Vandals descend into violence and criminality, the film examines themes of loyalty, identity, and the cost of rebellion against a rapidly changing American cultural landscape. Now, outside of loving movies, I am also a photographer, so when I heard that they were going to make a movie based on Danny Lyon's photo book, I was immediately on board. What makes The Bikeriders so enjoyable to watch for me is the balance between intimate character moments and grand, unforgettable imagery. Director Jeff Nichols embraces the visual beauty of biker subculture, capturing the raw, wild spirit of Danny Lyon's photographs while adding a layer of emotional depth that elevates the film beyond a simple quote-unquote biker movie. The performances are all a standout, but particularly Austin Butler's portrayal of Benny, whose mythic presence contrasts with his inner vulnerability, really hit me, especially by the end of the movie. Tom Hardy's Johnny, meanwhile, subverts the classic gang leader trope, bringing a sense of complexity to a character who could have easily been another cliche. The film's themes are rich and multifaceted. There's a tension between the icon and reality of being part of something that ultimately consumes you. The story becomes a meditation on the cyclical nature of influence, with the world of biker culture evolving from the romanticized vision of Marlon Brando in The Wild One to the gritty real-world implications of Easy Rider, only to eventually find its way back to the family man, subverting the very myths that it helped create. Jeff Nichols' approach is episodic and like a hangout movie full of vibrant snapshots, capturing the rawness of the subculture while drawing a fascinating parallel to the mythologization of American ideals. It's a film that both celebrates and deconstructs the biker image, making it an unforgettable ride for me. Up next, a heart-pounding sports and relationship drama that I have not stopped thinking about all year long. Challengers is a gripping and emotionally charged film that centers around the intense relationships between three individuals, Patrick, Art, and Tashi, set against the backdrop of professional tennis. The narrative unfolds in a non-linear structure, exploring the complex dynamics of love, rivalry, and personal growth over more than a decade. In 2006, best friends Patrick and Art win the junior doubles title at the US Open and are captivated by Tashi, a rising tennis star. Their intertwined relationship leads to a brief romantic encounter, setting the stage for years of complicated emotions. As they navigate their careers and love lives, tensions rise, particularly between Patrick and Tashi, as they struggle with their relationship while Art's career flourishes. A serious injury derails Tashi's tennis dreams, and she eventually reconnects with Art, both as a partner and a coach. Years later, Tashi and Art are a wealthy, powerful couple, but Art's career begins to falter due to age and injury. Meanwhile, Patrick, now struggling to stay relevant in the sport, finds himself at the same challenger event as Art and Tashi. The story culminates in a tense and high-stakes final match where the three are forced to confront their past and relationships in a way that ultimately changes everything. I recently rewatched this film at home with my girlfriend, and watching Challengers at home simply doesn't do this movie justice. For anyone who didn't experience this movie in a theater, the impact of Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's pulsing, thumping score is something that just can't be replicated in such a small setting on a small screen. There is a visceral urgency to the music that elevates this film's intensity, especially during the tense moments on the tennis court. The score seems to breathe life into the film, not just accompanying the scenes, but truly enhancing them, immersing the audience in a relentless, almost suffocating atmosphere. On home viewing, while the film still resonates, that tactile emotional connection is definitely dulled a little bit. But context is everything with a film like this, and that's particularly true here. The unique energy of Challengers thrives in a theater. There's an immediacy that is so palpable in its depiction of this love triangle or throuple in a sports melodrama. It's easy to reduce this movie to just that, two men and a woman locked in a complex, competitive, and emotionally charged dynamic set against the high-stakes backdrop of professional tennis. But doing so misses the bigger picture. The film transcends simple categorization, playing with the conventions of sports drama, romantic conflict, and character study in a way that feels fresh and engaging. The performances are stellar across the board, with the cast bringing depth and authenticity to their roles. A lot of people like to shout out Josh O'Connor. I think he's great, but I truly think that the whole trio all work incredibly well. The dynamic between Patrick, Art, and Tashi feels both chaotic and emotionally nuanced, but what really sticks with you is the final 20 minutes of this movie. The stakes rise to an almost unbearable level, and my heart was pounding, not just from the physical tension of the match, but from the emotional weight of what's been happening off the court the entire time. Challengers isn't just a sports film, it's a searing exploration of the psychological complexities of its characters, their relationships, and the intersection of their personal and professional lives. It may be a bit of a whirlwind, but in the best possible way, sweeping you up in the drama, the passion, and the thrilling uncertainty of who will come out on top, both in the final match and in their own lives. Up next is an epic American saga that we will no doubt be hearing a lot about during this award season. The Brutalist is a poignant and harrowing tale of Laszlo Toth, a Hungarian Jewish architect who survives the horrors of World War II and the Holocaust. After being separated by his wife and niece during the war, Laszlo emigrates to the United States in the late 1940s. Initially struggling to find his footing in a new country, Laszlo works alongside his cousin at a furniture business before being commissioned to renovate a wealthy industrialist's library, which leads to a strained relationship with his cousin and a series of personal and professional setbacks. As Laszlo navigates the challenges of rebuilding his life in America, his skill as an architect is recognized, and he is tasked with designing a community center by Harrison Lee Van Buren, a wealthy benefactor who becomes fascinated by his work. Laszlo is invited into the world of privilege but remains deeply scarred by his past. As Laszlo's relationship with Harrison becomes increasingly fraught and abusive, the personal and professional pressures begin to take a toll on him and his family. The film delves deeply into Laszlo's psychological unraveling as his past trauma and present struggles collide. His relationship with his wife Erzsébet, who suffers from osteoporosis and the effects of wartime trauma, deteriorates further as they both become trapped in a cycle of addiction. The film explores themes of power, dominance, and the search for legacy as Laszlo faces both external forces like the exploitative Harrison and his own inner demons. The Brutalist is a complex, layered narrative about survival, art, and the price of ambition. It examines the lengths to which a man will go to reclaim his dignity and build a future while grappling with the ghosts of the past. The film's focus on Laszlo's personal and professional struggles makes it a deeply moving reflection on identity, legacy, and the scars left by war. The Brutalist is, to put it bluntly, an epic, cinematic achievement that feels almost unprecedented in scale, especially considering its reported budget of just $10 million. The film carries a great American novel quality to it, expertly weaving together themes deeply rooted in classic American literature like wealth, art, greed, survival, grief, and addiction. These universal, yet intensely personal subjects give the film a weight that lingers long after the credits roll, touching on the complexity of the human experience in a way that feels timeless. At 3.5 hours long, the film is undeniably challenging in its pacing and ambition, but it flows with surprising ease, especially in the first half. And despite its length, it doesn't drag. It maintains a steady rhythm that pulls the viewer in rather than exhausting them. And I gotta say it right here, Adrien Brody's performance is nothing short of extraordinary, easily one of my favorites of the year, if not the favorite. He fully inhabits his character, Laszlo Toth, in a way that's so immersive, it's difficult to remember that he's even acting. The film's grandeur is amplified by the incredible score and cinematography. The score, composed by Daniel Blumberg, and this is only his second ever feature film score, it's nothing short of electrifying. It's a disorienting blend of heart-pounding tension and triumphant brass with horns that echo in your psyche long after the film ends. The cinematography, equally impressive, enhances the film's monumental tone, visually reinforcing its themes and capturing the vastness of its world in every single frame. The director, Brady Corbet, has crafted something truly remarkable with The Brutalist. What he accomplishes here is nothing short of inspiring to someone like me. He's created a film that's deeply rich with meaning, visual storytelling, and emotional depth. It's a film that demands attention, and with its layers of complexity, I'm certain that I missed aspects of those layers on my first viewing. I am already so eager to revisit this film and explore even more of what Brady Corbet has packed into this intricate narrative. And finally, the third A24 film on this list, and all of them cracked my top 5, which is crazy and not something that I intentionally did. I'm not like an A24 fanboy, but they just had a great output this year. And it's one that I hope people don't forget about, much like the Golden Globes forgot about it recently. I'm talking, of course, about Sing Sing follows Divine G, a man wrongfully imprisoned at Sing Sing Correctional Facility, as he discovers a sense of purpose and redemption through his involvement in a small theater group. The group is part of the Rehabilitation Through the Arts program, which uses theater as a form of rehabilitation. Divine G rises to prominence as both a playwright and an actor, gaining respect for his emotional depth. While pursuing his passion for theater, Divine G is also determined to prove his innocence and regain his freedom. His journey is complicated by his rivalry with another inmate, Divine I, who initially dismisses the power of acting, but later begins to embrace the program. As the two men clash over the direction of their next play, their relationship evolves, and they both experience personal growth through theater. The film captures the transformative impact of art on individuals within the prison system, exploring themes of redemption, emotional vulnerability, and the search for self-understanding. Tensions arise when Divine G faces setbacks in his pursuit of freedom, but ultimately the film highlights the power of human connection, reconciliation, and hope for the future. Sing Sing hit me like a truck, and I'm still processing just how deeply it affected me all of these months later. The emotional impact of this film is undeniable. There's a rawness to it that lingers long after the credits roll. It's a testament to the incredible power of art and its ability to heal, to transform, and give purpose, even in the most challenging circumstances. For anyone who has a deep love for the arts and believes in their potential to do real, tangible good in this world, this film will only reaffirm that belief. The way the film showcases rehabilitation through creation and performance is just so utterly powerful. Watching these men find purpose and a sense of identity in theater, something that many might consider trivial and unrelated to the real world, was truly eye-opening, in my opinion. It's clear that the act of performing, of telling stories, and connecting with their emotions is more than just a means of passing time. It's an essential form of self-expression, of growth, and of healing. And I have to give major credit to the entire cast. Singling out any one performance feels almost wrong because it's the ensemble as a whole that is just so strong and really makes this film as compelling as it is. That being said, Coleman Domingo and Clarence Macklin are remarkable, and I will be very, very sad if Clarence Macklin doesn't get a nomination at the Oscars. I don't know what the Golden Globes were thinking, leaving him out. But each actor brings something unique to their role, and together they create a dynamic and compelling story. The chemistry between all of them feels real and earned, and they all bring an emotional depth that makes you feel like you're right there with them. By the end of the film, I was in tears. Not gonna lie, fully invested in all of these men's journeys. I found myself wishing so desperately for all of them to be released, for them to experience freedom and the chance to live the lives that they deserve. There's a deep sense of hope and humanity that runs through this film, and it's something that sticks with you. At least it stuck with me long after you see it. It's a reminder of how, no matter the circumstances, the power of art and human condition can help rebuild lives and give people a second chance. And that does it for my top 10 of 2024. Of course, this could change. There are a few more that I'm going to see before the actual end of the year, but I think I have a pretty solid list here. And for anyone wondering about the rest of my list, I saw a lot of movies this year, so here's an official ranked list of all the films I saw in 2024. Let me know in the comments what your favorite films of 2024 were. Do you agree with my rankings? Why or why not? I would really love to hear from all of you. I truly cannot wait to see what 2025 has to offer in terms of cinema and the film industry. Don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when new videos come out on this channel, which I hope to be updating way more in 2025. The first few videos I put out were a bit of an experiment, and I'm happy to say that this channel is back and will be posting regularly, so look out for all of that in 2025. That'll do it from me, Josh, here at Cinema Wellness. Go to the movies. I'll see you all next time, next year.